What up, fight fans? Main man, made man here, back at it. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing. All right, now it's already official. I cannot wait to talk about this fight. We got Timothy Desert Storm Bradley, ladies and gentlemen. 32 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 12 knockouts, going against Brandon Bam Bam Rios. Ladies and gentlemen, this fight should be alright. You know what I mean? I ain't always hyped up about this fight. I guess it's most I don't think this thing will nearly be as contentious in the ring as a lot of people are saying. But this fight is going down November 7th of this year, 2015. This happened at the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas, man. The WBO championship may or may not be on the line. There's a story behind that, folks, and we will get into that. But let's talk about some of the things that's outside the ring before we get into the in the ring breakdown here. Now, first off, we know there's a few clouds hovering over this particular fight. The first one mainly noted that everybody knows about is the splitting of longtime trainer to Timothy Bradley, Joel Diaz. Joel Diaz and Timothy Bradley has went their separate ways, leaving a lot of boxing fans and a lot of people in the boxing world a little lost over that. You know what I mean? A lot of people didn't see this thing coming. It's one of those things to most people on the outside looking in. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? Timothy Bradley is coming off of winning the WBO World Championship in his last fight, in which he defeated Jesse Vargas, in which he was elevated to the interim world champion, and then Floyd Mayweather vacated the belt, so that made Timothy Bradley full-fledged world champion. And but either way, he's a championship. He's a championship fighter now, and this happened under the tutelage of Joel Diaz. Now, this Joel Diaz was there for his wins against Manny Pacquiao, Devin Alexander. I mean, he was there against all his he was there for all of his big wins. Juan Manuel Marquez, the Ruslan Provodnikov fight with Joel Diaz was there. You know what I mean? And Timothy Bradley, whenever he boxed, looked marvelous in most of his fights. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of, to most people on the outside looking in, it's like, wow, you know what I mean? Now, the issues that's been thrown out there, the reason that they're really breaking up is because, according to Timothy Bradley, he doesn't feel like he's Joel Diaz's number one priority, and he felt like he has too much going on, pretty much, and he doesn't have the full attention of Joel Diaz. And on Joel Diaz's end, he's saying that the reason he split it with Timothy Bradley is because Timothy Bradley has too many new people around him. You know, he has too many drivers in the driver's seat. When he was bringing Timothy Bradley up through the ranks, it was just mainly Joel Diaz making all the primary decisions involving Timothy Bradley's career, Joel Diaz and as well as Timothy Bradley's father. But now we see that, and some even allude to this, that Monica Bradley, who's the wife of Timothy Bradley, is now managing Tim Bradley. She's the one pretty much responsible for shooting down the Top Rank extension, in which Top Rank came to Timothy Bradley and offered him a contract extension, but it was pretty much shot down from Timothy Bradley's management. Now, this is the reason I say this is Timothy Bradley's last fight on Top Rank, because Timothy Bradley has basically been around the Top Rank merry-go-round, and he's fought all the Top Rank fighters. His lane is very small on who he can and cannot fight, as long as he's aligned himself with Top Rank and Bob Arum. Now, a lot of fights are off limits, such as all the Al Heyman fighters and all the PBC fights are off limits to Timothy Bradley. So some may say, and I guess the management must have seen that this is the best move for Timothy Bradley in the future, to not sign an extension with Top Rank. So that does not oblige him to Top Rank for his next fight. Very, very interesting. Now, like I said before, both guys gave their reasons for the big split. Has a lot of people like, wow, what the hell, man? No one's seen that coming. Also, another cloud that's hanging over this fight is the fact that Saddam Ali, who's been fighting his ass off, needless to say, coming off that big night knockout against Carlos Abreu, the fight before last. He's been looking good, and he has been elevated to the WBO's mandatory challenger for the title, you know what I'm saying? And so in this particular fight, Timothy Bradley, who's been crowned champion, is supposed to be fighting Saddam Ali. And I did a video on that right after Bradley beat Vargas, you know what I'm saying? I thought this fight was going to go down. But however, since they want to align this Rios Bradley fight, Top Rank wants to make this happen. Saddam Ali, who is a Golden Boy fighter, You know what I'm saying? He wants his shot at the title. He's on record as of today stating that he would rather have his shot at the title. Now, according to Bob Arum and Top Rank, they would prefer to put some sort of deal together in which to get Saddam Ali to throw some sort of deal at Saddam Ali and have him fight for the title basically in the next fight. Bob Arum is hoping to possibly try to get a fight with Jesse Vargas and Saddam Ali to possibly put on the undercard of the Bradley Rios fight, but I don't think that's happening. And that's what he was looking to do, and possibly the winner of each fight for the title in 2016. Now, Saddam Ali ain't having none of that, man, from what I'm hearing, And according to the WBO, they're not sanctioning this fight unless Saddam Ali is involved or an arrangement is made with Saddam Ali into which he's satisfied with. Now, neither one of those things has happened. But however, Top Rank has stated that they are cool with having this Bradley Rios fight go forward to be a non-title fight. Now, there's a lot of questions that would surround that if they was to go forward and have this fight to be a non-title fight and skipping over the mandatory bout. So that's a whole nother video possibly within itself, man. But that's pretty much some of the clouds that are hanging over this fight outside of the ring. Now, those are big deals. Those can be very distracting. And also, as of note, by Timothy Bradley splitting with Joel Diaz, it's officially announced that Teddy Atlas will be the fighter training Timothy Bradley. You know what I'm saying? Now, according to Timothy Bradley, he likes Teddy Atlas. He feels Teddy Atlas is making Timothy Bradley his number one priority. We know Teddy Atlas does not train a bunch of fighters as of today in this particular era. We know Teddy Atlas for training maybe fighters here and there, you know what I mean? But no one on a consistent basis, especially ever since he left the side of Mike Tyson many, many moons ago. But Teddy Atlas is a guy who, according to Timothy Bradley, he teaches his fighters how to use angles, he teaches them speed, and I guess he's using Mike Tyson as a perfect example, how Tyson had the speed, the power, the angles, the boxing IQ, and things like that. And these are some of the traits in which he feels that Teddy Atlas teaches his fighters. You know what I mean? It's going to be interesting to see how this relationship works out. Now, it's people may be thinking that Timothy Bradley, given he has 12 knockouts and he always looks so super swole, and we seen how he tried to fight Provodnikov, we seen how he tried to fight Pacquiao. He may be looking to gain more power. He's up there in age. He's 32 years of age now, ladies and gentlemen. So, and power has never been the thing of Timothy Bradley. But every time I look at Bradley, it's like he's a fighter sometimes who's not comfortable in his own skin. You know what I'm saying? Whereas he wants to be something that he isn't. He's a great boxer. He's a good, slick boxer. But it seems as if he really wants to have more power. Even when he comes on the scale, I remember Floyd Mayweather giving criticism of Timothy Bradley years ago and says he's always more interested in looking good on the scales, And that seems to have been the thing with Timothy Bradley. He wants to look strong. He looks mighty. He's always chiseled, you know what I'm saying? But that doesn't have the punching power, you know what I'm saying? And I think Timothy Bradley really, before his career is said and done, for some odd reason, he really, really wants that, you know what I mean? Now, in Brandon Rios' case, Brandon Rios is the cloud outside the ring for him was basically he was in a we all thought he was real close to finalizing a fight with IBF welterweight champion Kell Brook, but that thing fell apart. According to the reports, allegedly, the fight fell apart because of the rematch clause. Basically the things that needed for the rematch clause, and Brandon Rios pretty much wasn't on board with that. So it's interesting to see some people speculate that he didn't want to go over to the UK and fight. He felt as though he may not get a fair shake over in the UK. It could be many different reasons, man. But that fight fell apart. We know Brandon Rios is coming off actually looking pretty good. Since in compared to his previous fights before that, in which he beat Mike Alvarado for the second time back in January of this year. And he looked pretty impressive doing it. Now, a lot of people don't know if this was just how good Brandon Rios was or just Mike Alvarado not taking the fight seriously. So, but however, that was the best that Brandon Rios had looked in a long time. Previous to that, he had lost to Manny Pacquiao in a one-sided defeat. And previous to that, he had just lost to Mike Alvarado in a very close fight. But, Brandon Rios wasn't quite happy with Top Rank because that fight with Mike Alvarado took place in January of this year, And Brandon Rios has basically been inactive since. He hasn't been in the ring since, and he puts these blames on Top Rank because he said that after the Alvarado fight, Bob Arum promised him a fight in roughly about June, after beating Mike Alvarado, and that fight never came around. Now, there's been a lot of offers from what I'm hearing to Brandon Rios, in which he turned a lot of fights down. I guess the name wasn't big enough, and he felt as though he deserved a bigger name after coming off an impressive victory and stopping Mike Alvarado. But whatever, man. You know what I mean? So the fact of the matter is that he was very upset with Top Rank and his whole promotional team. But now they got him a big name in Timothy Bradley, so maybe that'll stop his whining. He'll shut the fuck up, get into training, and getting started for this fight. You know what I'm saying? So those are some of the clouds in the backdrop that were hanging over this particular fight outside of the ring, y'all. Now, inside of the ring, let's go inside. Let's talk strategy here. Shouldn't be a hard fight to break down for most. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, I do not once again see this fight as being that very, very much of a contentious of a fight. I think, honestly, if we get the Timothy Bradley of Juan Manuel Marquez, if we get the Timothy Bradley that likes to come in there and box, that shows that ring IQ, that gets in, that gets out, that does basically everything well, has very good defense, moves his head very good, gets in, gets out, and can avoid being injury free because we know he was knotted up pretty damn good against Diego Chavez, and you know what I mean, a fight before the Jesse Vargas fight, but he was knotted up pretty damn good. But given that, if we get the typical Timothy Bradley, I think he'll cruise right through this fight. And the reason I say this is because Brandon Rios, ladies and gentlemen, fight after fight after fight, we get the same Brandon Rios. I know they say that Garcia is working with him. He trains out up there with Robert Garcia and them. And they say he's been working with him, but we get the same Brandon Rios, okay? Brawler style, flat-footed Brandon Rios fights at close range, fights his best fights at close range, throws good uppercuts when he's in close range, does good body work and everything, takes a lot of fucking punches, eats a lot of fucking punches, and that's the Brandon Rios we've gotten fight after fight after fight. Nothing new. I'm sorry. Anybody has seen anything different with Brandon Rios, please put it in my comment section, because I haven't seen it, you know what I mean? But that his style against Timothy Bradley's boxer style just won't add up, ladies and gentlemen. Brandon Rios will be looking to get close all night long. Now, given that Timothy Bradley doesn't have the best lateral movement, you know what I mean? We know he has ankle injuries in the past and things like that. Maybe Brandon Rios can effectively cut the ring off with Timothy Bradley, but I just think Timothy Bradley will be smart enough to take that step back and just sit back and just see Brandon Rios coming a mile away, tagging Brandon Rios along the way of him trying to get closer to Timothy Bradley. Once again, I have never seen Brandon Rios really fight effectively at distance, and I mean, even though he'll probably be the taller fighter in this particular fight, I still do not see Brandon Rios fighting at a distance, you know what I mean? And if he tries to continuously close the gap against Timothy Bradley boxing skills should be more than enough to get him through this fight. Now, if Timothy Bradley wants to turn into Hulkamaniac Timothy Bradley, like sometimes he likes to do, I think that will be detrimental to Brandon Rios. Now, according to Timothy Bradley, he ain't dumb by far. The man knows exactly what he's doing. He knows that you cannot run for 12 rounds against Brandon Rios. I guess he's already putting it out there early. This is the words of Timothy Bradley, ladies and gentlemen. He knows he cannot run for 12 rounds against Brandon Rios because he knows eventually Brandon Rios will cut the ring off against Bradley because Bradley's ankles and his feet, there always been issues there, you know what I mean? And according to Timothy Bradley, I will not brawl with Rios all fight. You got to pick your spots. You got to brawl in spots. You got to box in spots. But Rios cannot see me when I box. So he's already fully aware, once he gets into boxer mode, that Brandon Rios doesn't have the tools he feels in his toolbox to be able to contend with that. This is the reason why Mike Alvarado cruised. I mean, I ain't gonna say cruised, but this is the reason why Mike Alvarado beat Brandon Rios in their second fight, because he box Brandon Rios more effectively. Even in the first fight, when he was boxing Brandon Rios, he was actually beating Brandon Rios. When he got lured into a brawl with Brandon Rios is when Brandon Rios shined the most throughout those fights. He loves the exchanges. He loves to take the damage. And I ain't trying to say nothing about nobody, but it seems to me that Brandon Rios is a little punch drunk now. If you listen to how he talks, he really does slurs his words. And he's still a young guy, he's still in his 20s, but he takes a lot of punches. Now, given there's no threat of knockout coming from Timothy Bradley, and yeah, the power is not a big thing coming from Timothy Bradley, I still think Timothy Bradley will hit Brandon Rios fairly easy, rack up enough points to cruise to a unanimous decision. So that is my prediction for this particular fight, ladies and gentlemen. Timothy Bradley by unanimous decision. I do not think it will be contentious. I will give it roughly 10 rounds to 2 at best. And this is given the type of Timothy Bradley that we will have. Now, the thing is about this fight, I'm curious about some things that I don't know. There's some unknowns about this fight, and this is just a speculation, folks. This is just my opinion. But you ask yourself this. Now, most people will tell you Timothy Bradley is the most deserving welterweight of a Floyd Mayweather fight, correct? Correct. Anyone who knows boxing or anything about the welterweight division or anything about Timothy Bradley will tell you that. Timothy Bradley is the most deserving welterweight to get a fight with Floyd Money Mayweather and to get that payday. Now, given that the things that prevented Timothy Bradley and Mayweather from fighting is the fact that Timothy Bradley is aligned with Bob Arum. But like I stated earlier in this video, this is his last fight possibly under top rank, folks. So is there a possibility that for Mayweather's 50th fight, we can get a Bradley Mayweather? I'm just asking a question. If I'm wrong about anything, please put it in the comment section, folks. But if there is a slight possibility of a Mayweather Bradley fight, will we take that over a Mayweather Pacquiao fight? Answer the question. I have no idea. But it's very interesting to note. You know what I'm saying? It's very interesting to note. That fight is very possible, folks. But I don't know. But it's going to be interesting to see. Now, another thing, and like I said before, I haven't heard anything about Jesse Vargas versus Saddam Ali being officially made at this particular time. Today is September. What the hell is today? Today is September 19th. So as of present day, I haven't heard anything about that fight being made. But it would make no sense to me because what if Jesse Vargas goes along and defeats Saddam Ali? We'll get a rematch of Timothy Bradley versus Jesse Vargas again. And then who's to make that promise if Timothy Bradley's not a top-ranked fighter in 2016? I don't know. Who's to say that fight is official? You know what I'm saying? But the fact is, that also seems like a way to lure Timothy Bradley into remaining a top-ranked fighter is to tie that deal into this particular fight. So hopefully Timothy Bradley won't take that bait, man. You know what I'm saying? But those are some of the unknowns about this particular fight. But however, sorry for the long-ass video, folks. My prediction, unanimous decision, Timothy Bradley over Brandon Rios. I think he will cruise to victory, 10 rounds to 2. I will come back after this fight with a post-fight video, so stay tuned for that. And that's pretty much my call for this fight. So if you guys got any contention from how I called it, put it in the comment section. If you agree, put it in the comment section. Until the next video, it's your main man, Made Man. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget Twitter, Made Man 511. Facebook, Main Man, Made Man Boxing Forum. And yeah, man, this is going to be good to see how this thing boils out, man. But I'm telling you, I can't state enough, and I like to state it again. If there's anyone more worthy of a Mayweather fight at welterweight, it's Timothy the Desert Storm Bradley. Until the next video, peace out.